Hi there, welcome to this quick 10-minute run through of the Hire Intelligence platform. So Hire Intelligence, we are a job distribution and advanced analytics platform. Quite simply, we are a piece of middleware, piece of software that sits between the ATSs or the HCM or even the CRM and all job boards, social media and any advertising sources out there like Google, etc. So quite simply, Hire Intelligence is all about maximizing the visibility and improving the candidate journey, the recruiter experience, and the return on investment from job boards. And we give you the data to analyze what is working in your process and what's not working, and also which suppliers and which job titles perform best on all the different job boards. So a quick explanation of Hire Intelligence. This is a demo, so all the data in here is made up. So first of all, what we do is we pick up a feed of your jobs from the ATS. This is a live feed, so anything updated in the ATS automatically pulls through to Hire Intelligence and all of the suppliers that we have your jobs on. We sort your jobs into these different priority levels on the top right-hand side. So firstly, we've got organic, which is in white. We've got standard, which is in green, extra, max, and critical. These are the different priority levels that we use to make sure we're getting visibility on all of your jobs across all different job board platforms. Can you set application caps? Absolutely, we can do it here. So we select max apps. We can do this by priority. So whether we have this on different tiers of job boards, so that we're, for our low-level roles, if we're on Indeed, for example, we want to make sure that we are stopping spending when we get to either 200 or 300 applications or more or less. As you can see here, it's fully customizable. And we can also set up bespoke campaigns on each job board or each provider to manage those campaigns a little bit more tighter. So for example, with hospitality, we have new openings. Sometimes for care homes, we have problems in specific sites. And also for different brands, we have different kind of nuances, and this platform and the team that works with it. So you get a customer success manager who works with you the whole time. We always look to work around or with what you're doing to complement your current approach. We never shoehorn you into doing things any particular way. So that is how we kind of we automate the capping and the visibility. We've got a few other automation features. So quite simply, when you've got a real diverse mix of job boards, rather than ticking the different options in the ATS and relying on the recruiters or people in the team to do this, to remove the human error, we can just embed job titles into our priority filter. So for example, if I use engineer, really basic, easy job title that's already written, engineer, and we want it to go out on green, which we have Indeed on, it will do so. If we wanted to be more specific and we have either a particular job board in a strange location, or maybe it's a new opening and we're setting budget aside for it, and we select that as let's go with max, and let's say somewhere difficult, so we're in Bristol. Now any engineer roles in Bristol, or if I remove this, any jobs at all in Bristol, will go to this specific campaign or this specific job board. And these rules are even more kind of bespoke and customizable. We can go as granular as qualifications, so there might be something either in the job spec or something that we're looking for that we talk about in the ad, and that will go to that specific channel. We've also got an automated escalation and de-escalation process. Quite simply, this just looks at how well the job is performing on the channel. So for example, if we're on Indeed here, I'm using Indeed as an example, you can customize your job boards to the different traffic tiers. But if we have Indeed on green and it's underperforming, so it has less than 10 applications after 7 days, we want to boost this to extra. So you will get this job board here, but you'll also get another job board that we'll tap into, or it can be a campaign on the same job board on Indeed, for example. But it's all about moving those levers to get you the applications you need without overspending your budget. So we know now this is underperforming, let's elevate it. This works at weekends, when you're on holiday, when you're in meetings, and outside of working hours, so that the tech is actually thinking for you based on the rules that we program in, and we help you obviously build this up and put all these rules in. Same as escalating, we have de-escalating. So if we have jobs on max and it has more than 40 applications after 5 days, great, we've got enough. Obviously this is changeable, but we then reduce that toward that organic. So that's our integration, sorry, that's our automation features. Budgets, so I'll just quickly flick to this demo here. So when I click on budgets, you can actually see live in the platform for any of those programmatic providers, so cost per application, cost per click, anything like that. We can see where you're at with your budgets in the month, what you did last month, what you're doing currently, and we can also preload for next month if we need to. And here we've got the option to put in the kind of analog contract spend. So what I mean by that is, regardless of how you buy your media, so sometimes you'll buy an upfront credits contract, sometimes you'll pay monthly for your budget, your sponsored budget on Indeed programmatic, or things like LinkedIn job slots. When you're buying in bulk over a year, or you're paying it out of a LinkedIn package, we can put the cost in here so that when we're looking at your data in our application report, which I'll go to show in a minute, we are comparing the data in an apples for apples manner. So rather than saying, oh, we paid 50K for this contract for the year, but we're getting a CPA of £1.50 on Indeed, what does that mean? We look into the application report and we can tell you, oh, bear with me. It's moved. We look in the application report into the previous month, and it starts to populate all of our figures. So we get what we call vanity metrics, so applies and cost, and then we look at the sanity metrics, which is the all the down funnel data, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But quite simply, if we just look at these top 3 suppliers here, these job boards don't matter, all this data's made up, but firstly, anything blue is dynamic. So if we want to see what's happening, we can actually click in and see where this candidate is in the process, and what we've paid for that candidate and all that kind of information. But we're looking at the number of applies in that given month, what that cost, what the CPA is. So again, you could have bought this media any which way you like. And here, these top 4, they all look very similar at £9. But straight away, we have a quality filter. The quality filter looks at whether they're an international applicant. It also asks various screening questions or killer questions to determine whether these are the right or wrong candidates for you. And we bucket the candidates on that basis. We normally block candidates who are not the right quality from being in the ATS to save the recruiters hours of time sifting through. This is something that we can change because obviously you're paying for this traffic, so we don't just want to divert these applicants away and reject them if you don't want to. So it's customizable by job or by occupation, but again, something that saves quite a few of our customers hours and hours of time because we've automated this. And our international filter is 99% accurate. I never say 100 just because we haven't made a mistake yet, but we always check these, spot check, and make sure that any internationals that have automatically been filtered out, that they are international and they're not, the system hasn't got it wrong. So the more interesting sanity metrics we have are cost per quality application. So here we've got all at £9, and here we've got 130, 230, and 21. So these are drastically different figures than what we're looking at on the front end. And this is really, how many are actually getting through. So on that basis, here, Apply Gateway, which is us. So this isn't a real job board provider, but if I was working with a job board who were doing a £234 cost per apply, I wouldn't work with them again. But here we have the automated down funnel metrics that we get from the ATS. So unlike any other tool on the market, Hire Intelligence has the disposition data that we pull from the ATS. So as long as the recruiters and the team that are managing the applicants update the status, so rejected, interviewed, offered, and hired, we can report back to tell you how many interviews, how many offers, and how many hires that job board generated in that month, but also what that cost you as a business on that specific advertising channel. So you've got full understanding of the ROI by job board. This obviously goes a little deeper. So when I mentioned quality, we can actually look at the quality here. So into September, and you can see here all of these metrics that you need to look at. So whether they're a duplicate, whether they're an international, whether they the integration with that job board may not be up to scratch. So we're not getting all of the information like phone number, name, telephone auto completed. And also, if we do our screening questions and the candidate doesn't complete the screening questions, we will prompt them 3 times within the first 48 hours to get them to complete their apply. So we actually send them a link to your job with your branding. So there's no other listing on there, and that will normally uptick conversion by about 30%. The last thing to look at is the occupation report. So this again for September. And if I can now look at this, we can rank how well. So if I look at healthcare assistant, we can now rank out of all these different job boards, which provided the most or least quality, what was the cost, and then obviously did it generate interviews, what was the cost per interview, hires and cost per hire. So at the click of a button, you can now rank your different suppliers, and we can even do it by job titles. So some job boards work better in certain areas or for certain job titles. This software will tell you that. There is loads more within the platform. We also host and manage career sites. We have a chatbot that sits over your career site, but I'm aware this is a short 10-minute demo. So that's as much as I can go through today, but happy to answer any questions. Thanks very much.